I did want to move on and talk specifically about a game that, like I said, will be mentioned more next week. We're going to get into other games we're anticipating this year, but I wanted to specifically talk about Battlefront 2 first. Rob, you and I played a lot of Battlefront. I reviewed it. I gave it a 7 out of 10 last year. 2 years ago, sorry, 2015.
Yeah,
it was longer than it feels. But Battlefront 2 officially announced. It has a single-player campaign. They're going to announce more of it at Star Wars Celebration next week in Orlando from the 12th to the 16th, I believe it's taking place. But we want to talk about what we want from it. Callie, it seems like you played a lot of earlier Battlefront games.
Yeah, I was a big fan of I was just really into Star Wars games in that era when there were a ton of Star Wars games.
Yeah.
And I also will be attending Star Wars Celebration.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm jealous.
I did one year. It's actually like, of the conventions I've been to, it's probably the most enjoyable because it's a pretty, whether you're a Star Wars fan or not, there's something to be said about seeing like a multi-generation, in one room where it's not just a dad and his son or his daughter. It's the granddad and his son and their daughter. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just see these families go, and the kids are just like so giggity and just like all wild. It's just a really cool experience. Just kind of walk around, and it's less stressful than like a Comic-Con. People are just sprinting to like a suicide squad.
Need that exclusive merch.
Yeah, I mean, I told you guys before, like I had like a mild panic attack at like last Comic-Con trying to get somewhere with a camera kit, and it's suicide squad panel, and everyone's just, get me out of here. But yeah, and it's a very cool event, and you should be really excited. It's gonna be awesome.
I'm absolutely excited.
Talking specifically about Battlefront, the remake last year that DICE did, 2015 that DICE did, a lot of like spectacle. It felt great as a Star Wars game, but as a shooter, I didn't really find it too engrossing. It felt a lot of surface, and I got bored really fast after I saw the planets, played all the different factions.
It did not capture me whatsoever.
Yeah. It felt like a dumbed down Battlefield, but with Star Wars skin to me.
Yeah.
And then even like all the modes that they kind of threw in there. Again, it looks great, like fantastic, but it's also, as a Star Wars fan, I liked it. As a person who likes video games, it wasn't too thrilling for me. So I guess building off that and then going back to what we liked about Battlefront 1 and 2 from back in the day on the Xbox PS2 GameCube era. Or they weren't on GameCube. Xbox PS2. What do we want to see in Battlefront 2? Callie, like what's one major thing you want this Battlefront 2 from EA and DICE to do?
I mean, I'm really excited about the single player, honestly. I get really anxious about playing online sometimes, and I like to have, like, if I'm, if I just want to like relax, or I'm like, I just want to play Battlefront like by myself. I just want to like experience some Star Wars, maybe have a little like story stuff, or go to a planet that I really like from the movies. I want to be able to do that on my own time, and so I'm really excited. I hope they do something really meaningful with the single player campaign. Like, I'm honestly so excited for that. I know a lot of people are into multiplayer. But.
Yeah, I totally agree. And remembering the first two games, like. Yeah, Peter just sighed looking at this footage. I mean, we'll talk about those heroes later, but yeah, as far as like the Galactic Conquest mode, right? Where it actually wasn't so heavy-handed narrative-wise, but there was something to be said about like taking over a whole system and then the galaxy as either Imperial or the Rebellion.
Or like the CES or the clone.
Yes.
The clones in Battlefront 2. But yeah, no, I mean like the overarching strategy elements of that.
Right, like like having those almost like a better Star Fox, right? Like seeing those maps like open up, like I'm gonna take Tatooine opposed to like Hoth or something like that.
Yeah,
like just
I loved
having
that.
just being able to branch out and
it's like playing Risk but in a video game.
Yeah, because you manage your fleets as well.
You
can build a new fleet for like 1,000 credits.
Yeah,
like, get an Imperial
I had
Star
Star
Destroyer.
Wars Risk for context.
Yeah, same here.
Star Wars
yeah,
Risk.
I mean,
Lord of the Rings was better.
That was nice to play. Yeah. But there's a lot about Battlefront, the last one, that I wish they could. Yeah, there's a lot. I don't know if you guys want to keep going.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't play very much of this game at all. Like only a couple rounds because like you guys didn't find the shooting that exciting. But I was just disappointed to see them cheapen like the characters and the themes of this world by just making it a very superficial experience and just mixing and matching for the sake of, oh my god, like you're Darth Vader fighting on Hoth, like wow. Okay.
Cool.
Dude, I am on 100% the same page. Like, you think about all the best Star Wars games, like namely like even this Knights of the Old Republic, like
So good.
Shadows of the Empire.
I mean, yeah, even Shadows, like yeah,
Yes.
like you're still playing something very different, regardless of it being on Hoth. Like that was kind of neat how they did tie-ins. But yeah, like to vamp on, why is Luke in Return of the Jedi outfit on Hoth?
Yeah.
Like it's just these elements. I don't need that. What I want is to feel, if you're gonna make me immersed in this world, I want to pretend I am my own guy. This is cool. I'm a Rodian or whatever it is. Let me feel that. I don't need to see the Emperor doing barrel rolls with like,
Dude, yeah.
Like I just don't want any of that. I want something new, and I think, ever since Disney bought it, I'm not going to vamp too much on that, but like, we've talked about before, as far as there's such a drive, I feel like, that's misinterpreted of like showing what we know to be Star Wars, like original trilogy even. I think they won't. Because I know I'm trying to say is I know it's really difficult for them for any property to make their own Star Wars game without double checking with Lucas film, right? Like that's such a very, I'm sure, like tough thing to do. But that being said, I don't need to see Han Solo anymore. Yeah, I don't need to see these things. I want something very fresh.
I mean, someone, Major Meteor on Twitter had been asking what we want to see with Battlefront 2. And then he said, personally, I want to see prequel theme content return. I'm actually, oddly enough, I'm there with him because in Battlefront 2, the older one, I really liked. So the one thing, I don't like the prequels as movies, but the one thing I do like
is the action.
Is the action and the Clone War aspects.
Love the Clone Wars. Yeah.
And like seeing more variety, maybe even like 2 more factions, like the Trade Federation or the CES, the Confederacy, and then also the Clone Army. That'd be really cool to see in Battlefront 2.
I could totally get behind having some Clone Wars themed content.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Republic Commando. I like that game a lot.
Hell yeah.
Kind of flies under the radar.
The other thing,
like Gravity Rush.
The other thing that and you mentioned like spaceships earlier before the show is if there's one letdown that feels like a nice cop out was the presence of tokens or power-ups on the field, where I mean, even you could just, I feel like even Battlefield 1 was kind of doing that, right, where you had to be in the map in order to spawn into a tank or something like that. There is that lack of joy of rushing to any kind of vehicle and hopping in, like taking off in an X-Wing. No, you just start in the air. Like, also in that respect, where's the strategy involved? If you had 5-6 friends, it's like, okay, cool. Excuse me. 2 of you guys get in the air, and then I'll get in like an AT-AT, and we'll tackle this field. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You have no idea where you're getting to. You just spawn, and then hopefully I'll come across a vehicle token that's randomly dropped. I mean, that's just.
I mean, you said it before. It feels like a cop out. Like it's just I'll pick up it's just it takes away all of the like excitement. I mean, basically what you said already.
Yeah,
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
I jumped into this game and then 2 hours in, it started losing its luster for sure. It didn't. I want it to be more of a shooter, honestly. I think making it, giving it the Star Wars sheen and paying, due respects to its characters. What is this? I didn't even know you could be R2-D2. Is this DLC?
Sure.
Okay. What is that? Like an EMP blast he just sent out?
I think you control. I think it's a certain mode, like
all right. Actually, I'm
defend the bomb or something like that. Well, these are even the DLC. Like I kind of covered the Scarif update that was underwhelming for me again, and I think it was just another excuse to like to look at the property of Star Wars and make content around that, opposed to the other way around, and having some kind of creative drive to make something different. No, it's like, all right, let's do Scarif and just.
It's Star Wars in service of a game.
Yes,
when it should be the other way around.
Exactly.
I want DICE to take its experience with Battlefield and implement that a little more here with Battlefront 2. But yeah, like Callie said, the single player campaign is the drawing aspect for me right now because I don't love the multiplayer of the first game.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So, as usual, let us know if you're in the chat right now or if you're going to be watching this on YouTube or GameSpot at a later date. Let us know what you want from Battlefront 2. Like I said, later next week, there will be more about it. We'll see. Again, this could be nothing, but like EA and DICE are saying it's their biggest reveal ever, but they say that all the time. But
what does that mean?
I don't know.
How do you quantify that?
That's why I said this could mean nothing. But anyway, yeah, let us know what you think.
Curtain.
It's like literally physically huge.
Just the biggest physically.
What if they just destroy a planet in real life. Like
That would be
Jupiter.
sick.
Yeah.
Like old school, like original Star Wars trailer. Like they have. This
No.
planet,
In
blows
real
up, and
life.
it's like Battlefront 2, and they're like, there
No,
you go.
DICE itself destroys like Jupiter in
practical
real
They
life.
like reinstate
Oh.
Pluto as a planet and then explode it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think Rob's still excited though.
Yeah.
yeah.
Or they could just destroy the entire Andromeda galaxy and we won't have to play a game set there anymore. Bam! Roasted. Leave your thoughts in the comments below.
Hey, if we don't get what we want out of Battlefront reveal next week, I'm pretty sure we're getting a Star Wars Episode 8 trailer,
Oh, yeah, that'll be great.
and that is something I will watch many, many times.
Do you like Star Wars?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Like I said, let us know what you want in Battlefront 2. Thank you. And thank you, Major Meteor, for the question.